Hello and welcome to FootballFan.zone. We're going to give you insight from the inside. Expert opinions, expert analysis from the experts, ex-players, ex-managers and journalists. We're going to give you the inside scoop and we want you to have access to behind the scenes in the football world. Balanced debates and where necessary bring in referees, agents and physios. This is your site and we're speaking to you, the football fan. We want you to post videos, blogs, articles, emails and questions to the panel. You can tweet at talk2Fanzone and email talk@footballfan.zone. It's not often you can say in the presence of a legend, but today we are. I'm glad to say joining us here is Kenny Sansom, 86 caps for England, played for Arsenal, played for Palace. Everyone, I give you Kenny Sansom. Kenny, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And also we have a sports pundit, Angus Loughran, joins us as well. Angus, welcome. We're going to start off by talking about managers. It's a big debate. The first manager to get the sack in the Premier League. It's a big one with the pundits, a big one with the punters, and of course the bookies love it as well. I've got a list here, guys, of all the managers, all the clubs. Who's your number one to go first, Ken?
Straight off the top of my head, when I was going to be asked this question, I thought Sam Allardyce was getting booed at the end of last season. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Sam because the way we know West Ham used to play under Harry Redknapp and Ron Greenwood even. You know,
and they brought in Teddy Sheringham as well, who's now an attacking coach.
Well, hopefully he can play a big part. I think Teddy's important, and I think their start has got to be good. Because I think if he doesn't have a good start, doesn't play the right side, I think if they win and draw and get good away results, then I think he'll be okay. But if he doesn't play the right way and they start losing, I think he's going to be under pressure. I think Alan Pardew was under a bit of pressure.
That was going to be my tip as well.
So I've ticked them two off. There's another few that, you know, Paul Lambert, Steve Bruce at Hull. He's talking about wanting the England job, so that doesn't say much.
I'm always happy about that.
Yeah, he doesn't say much about it. He wants to be the Hull manager. So I think most of there'll be 5 or 6 with him with a shout, but I think Sam will be the one under pressure first.
Angus, we'll talk about the managers that have just come up from the Championship in a second because they're always a bookie's favourite to get the sack. But the managers that were in the Premier League last year, he's just mentioned a couple there. Anyone else outside of those?
There's a lot of overreaction to this first manager to go. I mean, you look at the fixture list and it can be unkind to certain clubs. I mean, you mentioned Pardew. I mean, Newcastle traditionally have been very slow starters and they've been picking up later in the year. But Pardew somehow managed to change things around, and last year, if they hadn't started well, he would have been in big trouble. One thing about Pardew that I do know is that he's got a very interesting contract. This 8-year contract, right? A year of the contract is actually irrelevant. He's on it almost virtually on a performance-related contract. So in other words, if Newcastle were to get in the Champions League, Pardew would actually probably be the best paid manager in the Premiership. But if they were to go down, there's a clause in it. If they actually go out the Premiership, he's the worst paid manager. I think the pay structure that Ashley's introduced to the manager particularly and to the contracts is the way that all clubs should operate.
Okay, who's the safest manager in the Premier League?
Van Gaal.
Yeah, I think Van Gaal. Yeah, I think Van Gaal. I think maybe even Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers definitely.
I don't think there's any danger, or even Martinez. I don't think is. The only thing is someone could come in for Martinez. You've got to think that he is a manager who could definitely be poached by one of the bigger clubs from outside. I mean, you talk about Mourinho. I think things are far from sweet at Stamford Bridge at the moment. I mean, Mourinho loves Chelsea. Chelsea love Mourinho, but you've got to remember there were a lot of signs at the end of last season. There were things that, you know, I saw quite a lot of Chelsea at the end of last season. It wasn't all sweet off the field, but far from it.
But this is his squad now, Jose.
But didn't you think his team?
There can be no excuses.
I think he is the biggest manager to possibly be under pressure, depending on the start. I think he's really important.
But didn't you think it was a surprise last season how he was putting such a negative turn on all his team's chances? He surely can't this season say that we can't win the league. I mean, he mustn't say that. If he does, I mean, in the end, they had a pretty decent season, Chelsea, don't get me wrong.
Chelsea had the best record of all the top 6.
Beating Liverpool.
It was Villa away, it was Palace away, it was Stoke away. That's where Chelsea dropped points. But so we're saying that Jose's not safe. He's on shaky ground, or
I would say he's the biggest manager in the Premier League, most probably under the most pressure.
Because he could walk. You've got to remember with him, anything could happen. I mean, Mourinho, it's almost like a circus. Literally anything could happen. I mean, we say Van Gaal's safe, but Van Gaal's going to completely change the whole structure at Manchester United. I think what really upset a lot of the punters at Old Trafford last year was there was money to spend. He had the money if he wanted to, and what did he end up with Fellaini?
Okay, you've heard what the boys have had to say. It's your chance to have your say. Who will be the first manager to be sacked or leave his post in the Premier League? You can tweet us at Talk2Fanzone. 2 is the number 2, or you can email talk@FootballFan.zone. Get involved, or you can also post videos, blogs, or articles and questions to the lads.